Hello, random person that happened to find this video. I want to talk to you about theme parks, more specifically Fuji Highland, and more specifically than that, how Fuji Highland handles fast passes and lockers. And honestly, I just want to talk about my experience finally getting to go to this park because I've wanted to go for a very long time. So if you'll give me just a moment of your time, allow me to rant to you about this theme park. Fuji is located, if you don't know, near the scenic Mount Fuji, which in and of itself is pretty freaking cool. But even cooler than that is how this park handles lockers. Now, one of my biggest nitpicks about theme parks, and I'm sure you guys can relate if you go to I'm assuming you go to theme parks, is how parks handle the locker system. Now, normally for regular rides, if you don't know, there's a little bin off to the side where you can store your things, get on the ride, do some loop-de-loops and have a good time. Get off, get your stuff, you know the drill. But on their big ticket roller coasters, the bins are magically missing. And in its place are lockers you have to pay money for because, of course, theme parks gotta double dip. They gotta squeeze out just a little bit more money from the customer. But I'm happy to say that at Fuji I was pleasantly surprised to see that all the lockers were free for the rides. And these aren't like tiny little lockers. These are actually pretty decent sized lockers so you can store your stuff and still enjoy the park and enjoy the rides. It makes sense because on the rides at Fuji they don't want you to have anything in your pockets, not even your cell phone. Even if you have like pockets of zip, you gotta take it out, put it in the locker. But what's cool is before you board the ride, you get a little key that you strap to your wrist and a number, and that's your locker. I like that. I like that they aren't milking the customer for more money just to store their things. That is pretty cool. Of course, before you can get onto the ride, you'll have to listen to a literal TED talk about safety, but I mean, fair trade. Now, I'm not gonna waste your time because I value it. I wanna talk about the fast pass system as well. Now, at the park, you can just kind of pay to go inside with a day pass that lets you ride all the rides. You just go in and pay for the rides individually if you want to, or, and this is interesting, you can just go to individual booths in front of the rides and purchase a line skip ticket. This is pretty much the fast pass for Fuji. You can't buy a fast pass as a blanket, like just skip the line for all the rides for the entire time you're in the park. Instead, you pay for the rides on a I want to ride it basis for the fast pass. So if the line's super long, you can be like, yeah, you know what? I want to skip that line. Then you pay a little extra, you skip the line. It was like 1,000 yen, I believe, something around that. My memory's a little fuzzy. But my point is, it wasn't that expensive for getting on the ride way faster and skipping hours of wait time, which, by the way, the wait time, around the time that I went to the park anyways, wasn't really that bad. Now, if there are any regulars in the comments, you could tell me if that's the norm at this park, but yeah, no, the wait times for rides, not bad. No, I find myself conflicted because I like this system. I like that I can choose when I want to skip a line, but is it actually a better value than, say, Cedar Point, where you pay a flat rate on top of your entry to the park to skip rides for the entirety of the time that you're in the park? As far as I know, I'm pretty sure that's how that one works. Versus paying for rides on an individual want to skip basis. I think that really depends on the person. For me, I feel like Fuji might actually be a better value, but I could see a good argument for Cedar Point still as well. You'll have to tell me, random people who somehow happen to find this video, what you think in the comments, and maybe subscribe while you're there if you're feeling really cool. There's a lot more I want to say about this theme park. I have so many thoughts about the rides, but I don't want to cram it all into one video. I think that'd be a little too chaotic, and I've rambled enough for this one. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's nice when parks are a little bit more pro-consumer rather than, you know, pro-milking them dry for just having merchandise that they got from their park. Just a thought, just a thought. I'll talk about rides and the theme of the theme park in the next video. That's all I wanted to say. See ya.
Sushi yaro.
You better enjoy yourself tonight. Sushi. As long as everyone's feeling alright. Sushi. You're never gonna be the same again. So say goodbye to all of your friends. You're gonna have the time of your